Building a heated M3 steering wheel for my BMW E91, because BMW never did. Part 3, the trim. I found this genuine used M3 steering wheel trim on eBay for $45, which is significantly cheaper than the cost of a new one. As you can see, the trim is pretty beat up, so I started to prepare it to be fully refinished. I started by taking the old M badge off, which is glued at the bottom of the indent, which is a defining feature of the M3 trim. Once that was done, it was ready to go. Here are all the supplies I'll be using to restore this trim. To remove the existing paint, I will be using acetone-free nail polish remover. It's important that it must be acetone-free to prevent the risk of damaging the plastic trim. I first tested it on the trim from the sport wheel, which worked, so I went ahead with the M3 trim. The paint came right off with ease. Once the paint was removed, it was time for the next step, sanding. Luckily, my cheap M3 trim was in perfect condition, but I still needed to sand it to allow the paint to bond to the plastic. I started out sanding the trim with a rougher 600 grit sandpaper, then moved on to 1000 grit to get it nice and smooth. I cleaned the trim with an alcohol wipe to remove any dust from sanding. This was in preparation for the next step, which was spraying the trim with primer. Primer is important to ensure a clean, uniform finish once the paint is applied. A few quick, light coats later, and the trim was ready for paint. This is where the biggest issue of the entire project came about. After sanding the primer and applying the paint that I picked out, I did not like the finish once the trim was done. It wasn't close to the factory finish, and I wanted an exact match. To fix this, I soaked it in nail polish remover again, and I picked out a new paint which I matched to my steering wheel buttons. However, when I soaked the trim, I accidentally scratched and damaged it, so I fixed it with a small amount of body filler and some sanding. The new finish looked a lot better, but the scratch and repair is noticeable, though not by much. This wasn't a huge deal, but it's just annoying, and I wish I took my time picking out the paint in the first place. Back to the trim. It was finished, I installed the M badge and put the buttons back in. I connected the buttons to the trim and screwed the trim back onto the wheel. Since the M3 trim wasn't meant for this wheel, I had to force the rubber part of the wheel into the trim, which was pretty easy. It popped right into place and the wheel is ready for an airbag and installation, which I'll be doing in part 4. I hope you all enjoyed and thank you for watching.